set the scene a little bit for us and describe who your characters are and what the premise of the film is?
Sure. I'm Dana. I play Tara Parrish, who is a lost spirit looking for something or someone outside of herself to attach to, without revealing too much. I think she's very committed to her relationships. It's hard to talk about this without giving too much away. The film explores the details and the dangers of intimacy gone too far, and Tara is sort of spearheading that.
Yes, I play Esther, and I am kind of like the other perspective. Like, everything is kind of moving along and no one knows what's going to happen, but Esther is kind of the character that keeps it real. That's like, nah, something's going on. I have an intuition about something without even knowing any details. It's just something feels off to her. And I think that her role is very important in grounding the character and giving that other perspective. And I don't want to say too much, but I had fun playing that role. And I feel like I'm like that with a lot of my friends in real life. So it wasn't a hard role to pull off.
So Alexandra and Clara, as the writer and director of the film, talk about having the female perspective represented in this sort of thriller, which, is really a bit unusual to get a woman's point of view on this type of movie. Talk a little bit about what you wanted to achieve, both in the writing and the directing.
I was really inspired by this idea that women in a lot of thrillers, whether they be kind of the sexy date night horror movies like Basic Instinct or classic noir like Vertigo, when women end up being the villain, it's because they're crazy or a liar or they want money. And what would it look like if there's just something very powerful going on that sets these two lovers on opposing sides as they get closer? And Clara really realized that in just such an amazing way with this slow burn that has a very decidedly female gaze.
Yeah, Allie puts it really beautifully, and all of those intents were very clear on the page. And for me, I don't go into anything being like, what can I bring to this as a woman? And I just say, like, how can I make the best fucking movie possible? Yeah. And I am inextricably linked to my perspective, which happens to be as someone assigned female at birth who identifies as female and who relates to all of like, I bounce off of an experience differently than someone in a different body, be that gender, be that appearance, be that able, what able level I am. Like it just, that's my perspective. So I learned early on that if I try to be a woman, bring a feminine, it's a losing conceit. That's also not my job. My job is, like I said, make the best movie I can. And what was really exciting was I was met with people and collaborators who were also excited about this fresh perspective. It's still embarrassing how few of major grossing films are directed by women. And so there's just a dearth of this perspective. And it just naturally comes out of me and other people who are bodied or embodied like me. It honestly was kind of a perfect storm because Allie was conscientious, but also like not pushing. Dana's conscientious, same with Casey. Like everyone was like, we're on the same team, right? We want to bring a fresh perspective, but we don't want to shove it down anybody's throats. We just want to make something great. And I think we did okay.
Yeah. Okay. Dana and Casey, why don't you talk a little bit, because I think it's a really interesting point about the film. We hear so much about the male gaze in movies. And what is it like for you to work with, with this kind of script, with a different perspective, as we've been talking about?
I think that it's, a completely different experience from other projects that I've worked on, although I haven't done a role like this before. But there is definitely this sense of a female gaze in terms of the sexuality, sexual subjectivity, instead of being the sexual object, Tara really drives a lot of the sexual scenes in the film. And that was really empowering. That was really fun. And I think the movie really kind of turns a lot of those tropes that are associated with the male gaze on its head. And it was really an honor to be in a film like that.
Yeah, same here. I was actually really shocked, like learning that the script was written by a woman and that it was being directed by a woman and then the woman lead. And you just have all these powerful women characters, all around. And so that was very appealing to me. And I loved how we got to explore the woman perspective from different characters. My Esther is very different than Tara. And I don't know, I just think the mind of someone like Esther is important, and I had fun exploring that,